I thank God for the opportunity to connect with you today from whichever part of the world that this video streaming is coming across to you. It is my earnest prayer that this video will meet you well, and I pray earnestly that it will steer you up to action, because what we are about to share today has to do with our world. Last week we started a series, and today we will be building on that. My name is Green Ademola, and I'm the lead pastor at Purebreed Christian Church. Our mandate at Purebreed Christian Church is to turn many to righteousness, and that is what this very video is all about. We started a series titled World Changers. And last week we looked at the topic that says the search for world changers. In case you missed it or any of our other recordings, I will encourage you to check our YouTube, our Facebook, and other media. Just search for Purebreed Church and you will find it there. Today, I'm here to build on what we discussed last week. And the topic for today is the cry for change. The cry for change. And I will lay the foundation for today by reading from the Bible, Romans chapter 8, verse 19. Romans is a book in the Bible, chapter 8, verse 19. And here is what the Bible says. For the creation waits in eager expectation for the children of God to be revealed. The creation here represents our world. Our world is in dire need of men and women that will make a change. Our world is crying. All over the world, there are lots of things that are not working the way they should. From Africa to Asia, to Europe, to North America, to South America, to Australia, and all over, there is a lot of things that are not going well. And our world is crying, hoping, wishing, praying that the children of God will arise. That men and women like you that is listening to me will take our place and do our own bit, so that there will be healing for our world. And you may say, why is the world crying? What is wrong with the world? I tell you the truth, a lot of things are wrong with our world. And I will just take you through a few of the statistics that will, I suppose, trouble you seriously. And the reason why all of these things is happening is because you and I have not taken our place where we ought to. Here is one thing you see. Nearly 1 billion people are obese worldwide. I got this information from worldobesity.org. Overweight that have led to obesity. And you don't want to know the health complications that go along with this obesity. Some of the medications that at some point these people will have to begin to go through. Some of the pain that these people will have to begin to go through. Almost 1 billion of these people. The reason for this obesity has to do with life choices, most of them. Eating of junk food and other lifestyles that do not support their well-being. But why is the world crying? The world is crying because there are systems that have been put in place for selfish gain that promote all these junk foods and irresponsible living, and glamorize this irresponsible living and create systems and structures in place to keep people immobile, to keep people redundant, sedentary lifestyle that continue to impact on the health of people, and at the end of the day, people come up with obesity. Can't we find a better system that will not promote and encourage these irresponsible life choices that people engage themselves in that result into obesity? That is the cry. I give you another one. Over 3 million deaths occur annually. Over 3 million people die every year. And these deaths are attributable to alcohol consumptions and drugs. Alcohol consumptions and drugs. I got these statistics from World Health Organization, so I'm not speaking my mind. But the evil here, which we mentioned last week, is that there are organizations who promote these alcohols, who promote these drugs, and because they are powerful, because they have plenty of money, they will not want the truth to come to light for people to know that drunkenness is evil, that drugs is evil, because they want people to continue to be addicted and to be hooked to the alcohols and to the drugs, so that they will continue to make their profits. The world changers that God is looking for are men and women who will say, alcohol, drugs, you've had enough of destruction on humanity. Enough. And what pains me the most is that if it were some other issues, you will see these power bank companies begin to promote it and stream it on all the big medias. But now, I don't see these same big organizations raising their voice, championing it in the news to say over 3 million people are being dead attributable to alcohols and drugs. How long shall we keep being deceived? To be told that, look, this alcohol that you are taking and drinking and is looking like you're having the fun of your life is actually a path to death. These drugs that we are celebrating, the celebrities who are drug barons and drug addicts, that is actually a path to death. Who will voice it out so that these young men and young women who are being captivated by the glamorous lifestyle of these drunkards and these drug addicts will not fall victims of this same death that is already hanging on their neck? There is a need for someone who is a world changer to raise a campaign and voice it out strong and loud that alcohol and drugs will lead to death and severe deaths. Our world is losing over 3 million vibrant, able lives to these drugs and to this alcohol. Yet, big promotions and big commercials are still going on, promoting those same alcohols and promoting those same drugs. We've got to do something better as a people. So today I'm talking about the world is crying. The world is crying because every time we allow for alcohols to be sold, we are actually opening the door for 3 million people to die every year. As painful and offensive as it may seem. But I'm just being very honest. And these are not my statistics. These are statistics from renowned organizations. Hear this other one. Around 14 million abortions are done yearly. And I got these statistics from World Population Review 2024. Around 14 million abortions are done yearly. When I checked this same information in Wikipedia was actually giving me around 73 million abortions take place annually. Well, let us go with the smaller number. 14 million every year aborted. But we have big companies who are sponsoring this abortion and sponsoring products that encourage abortion and sponsoring lifestyles that result into abortion. Because companies that promote fornication and adultery and immorality by implication are the ones also sponsoring for these abortions. Because you cannot tell me that this 14 million number is not something that should give you sleepless nights. These are destinies that we are intended by God to become scientists, to create things that will make our world great. These are doctors, these are engineers, these are businessmen and women, these are clergymen, these are great destinies that our world was waiting for them to come and make their own meaningful contribution. These are journalists, these are media people, these are technicians, these are AI engineers. But what? They have been aborted even before they see the light of the day. Let's call a spade, that this abortion is the destruction of life. I stand by the word of God, I stand by the perspective of the Bible, and I can boldly say it, that these killings are not fair, that these killings are not justifiable. We are spilling blood all over the place, and the blood of these 14 million people is crying, where will I get justice? Why have I been cut short? Why have I been refused to manifest the greatness that God intended for me? Their blood is crying. You will say, how do I know that blood cry? The Bible told us in Genesis that when Abel was killed by his brother Cain, the Bible says God told Cain, the blood of your brother is crying. It's asking for vengeance. So don't be deceived to think that the life of these 14 million people, the blood of these 14 million people that have been aborted every year, that it will just go on like that. And if you imagine that every year 14 million abortion is done, let's put it in the space of 10 years, you are talking of over 140 million killed. And those lives are saying, why is this injustice going on attended to? Why is nobody crying out for me? I have been cut short. I was supposed to come and be an engineer. I was supposed to come and be a medical doctor. I was wired to come and bring solutions that will benefit humanity. But I have been aborted. But you know what? Because the sons of God will not rise up, the big organization that are sponsoring these abortions will continue to do the thing that they are doing. Our world have had enough of this bloodshed. Because if it were 40 million people that were killed in one war somewhere, the big media should have been making noise about it. Every life matter, and if every life matter, this 40 million life too should matter. And yes, I know, because I'm not illiterate, I know that there are certain abortions that are inevitable. My sister was a medical person. She was a nurse and a midwife before she passed on. So at least I've lived with someone who understands the system. That there are times when it could be a threatened abortion and the life of the mother or the life of the child is at risk, and somehow rather than lose the two, then abortion might have to be done in order to save one life. I get that very clear, and I endorse that. There are certain medical situations that may warrant that the evacuation of the life of the fetus. But that is not to promote for when a able young man with his right senses, a able young girl with her right senses go into fornication, go into adultery, and then when they become pregnant, tell herself, I'm not ready for this, and it is my body, I'll do what I like with my body. Then she goes and aborts the child, and then she goes back again, and then the world celebrate her, and then she goes into fornication again, and then she goes into adultery again, and then she gets pregnant again, and then she aborts it, and the cycle continues. That is irresponsible. That is irresponsible. 9.2% of our world today live in extreme poverty. 9.2%. Then you will say, 9.2 is not a big number, less than 10%. Well, if this statistics is something to go by, out of the 8.2 billion people on the face of the earth, if you convert this 9.2%, you are talking of 755 million people. Every day they wake up in extreme poverty. Every day they go to bed in extreme poverty. Not because they are lazy, not because they don't want to work, not because they are irresponsible, but because the system of this world has been corrupted. Few individuals collect the wealth and the resources that was supposed to be meant for everybody. They take it to themselves. They build mansions on the blood of human beings. They build empires for themselves. If you build legitimate empire based on your effort, your work, your company, fine, but not the public purse. You take from it corruption, injustice, and then 755 million people every day in extreme poverty. That is not a small number by any means. And from that extreme poverty, they die. A lot of people have died because they cannot afford less than $1 medication. Because they cannot afford $1 to pay for that medical bill, and they die. And in that same environment where somebody is in abject poverty and dying of $1 medication, somebody is having fleets of over 100 brand new cars that he got from ill-gotten wealth. We've had enough of that. The sons of God must arise and say, we've had enough of it. This cannot continue. This cannot continue. So the scripture we read say the creation is waiting for the manifestation of the sons of God to come and make a difference, to come and put an end to this evil and this injustice. So I posted it 2 days ago on my WhatsApp status because the statistic I saw was very disturbing. It says, and this is from the United Nations Secretary General. He's not a small person by all means. 2.6 trillion US dollars. I repeat, 2.6 trillion US dollars is lost annually through corruption. You can imagine that because of corrupt activities across the globe, corruption by politicians, corruption by CEOs, corruption by people in government, corruption by people in power, corruption across the ladder, even religious corruption, corruption in the religious cycles and whatnot. They added it up together and they're able to say 2.6 trillion US dollars is lost through corrupt activities. And when I did my small mathematics, I felt that, look, this amount of money is enough to launch 37 SpaceX Falcon 9 rockets to the orbit. Because what Elon Musk just did not too recently, with less than $70 million, is able to launch a rocket to the orbit. And here we are, 2.6 trillion US dollars lost to corruption. In Africa, it's a terrible story. Leadership who have been invested and trusted to do things on behalf of the people take the whole of that wealth, waste it on some lavish lifestyle, and then the people are living in abject poverty. People cannot afford 2 square meals. People cannot afford to go to school. People cannot afford to have ordinary clean drinking water. Our world is crying. That is the topic for today. Our world is crying. And the world is crying, and the world will keep crying until you that is listening to me, until 2 things happen. 1, if you are part of those that have been promoting this corruption, you need to stop. And then 2, you have to rise up and say, I am a world changer and I must play my own part for righteousness to reign. See, the answer is not difficult. The answer is very simple. Let righteousness reign. Bible says that righteousness exalts a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people. The reason why all these negative statistics are coming out is because of sin. We may call it some fanciful name, but it is what it is. It is sin. It is unrighteousness. And if God will find somebody in Nigeria, if God will find somebody in England, if God will find somebody in Peru, if God will find somebody in Saudi Arabia that will say, I will stand for righteousness, then we'll begin to push back on this evil. And when I say push back, I'm not talking of using arms to fight and kill. That will be adding insult to the injury. I'm talking about you exemplifying righteousness in that your small space, so that our world will be a better place. If I will keep running the statistics, your heart will be broken. Do you want us to tell you how much rape is going on every year? Do you want us to tell you how many number of people are in prison unlawfully and unjustly? They have been in prison because the judicial system in their country has been corrupted. The judge, the lawyers have connected themselves together, and people are being put in prison in order to cover for some big shot somewhere. The world is crying. Creation is crying. Who will deliver us? Who will save us? Who will put an end to this pain? And my prayer today is that God will find you to rise up and say, in my small locality, in my small community, I will begin to promote for righteousness. That is what Purebreed is all about. Promoting righteousness, turning many to righteousness, that our world will be a better place and our God will be glorified. Nothing more. Nothing more. I will encourage you to follow us on this series. Next week on this same channel, I would like to explain to you what are some of the steps, what are some of the qualities that you need to manifest that will help you to be a world changer for good, not for evil. For good, not for evil. So I encourage you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. And not because we are looking for likes, but the reason for the subscribe is so that when we post videos like this, it will come up as a notification for you and you could follow up with us. The campaign on this platform is to raise as many as we can to say that wherever you are, let us begin to champion righteousness so that the pain that is going on in our world will be pushed back. I hope you will join in this campaign. I hope you will be a part of this campaign for righteousness. All what we are asking for is join us to campaign for righteousness so that God will be glorified and our world will be a beautiful place. Nothing more we are asking for. There's no reason why 755 million people should go to bed hungry, living in abject poverty in a place that is blessed as ours. There's no reason why $2.6 trillion should be lost to corruption when a lot of meaningful projects could be executed, healthcare, education, and other things. So the system of this world is glamorizing sin and wickedness and giving it some fanciful tag. But we who are sons of God know what it is. That it is evil, it is sin, it is unrighteousness. And it has implication on people's lives. Our world is dying and we need to arise. What is the benefit of your religion if your religion does not translate into promotion of righteousness, that our world will be a better place? 2-point-something billion people say they are Christian and yet our world is rotting. 1-point-something people say they are Muslims and yet our world is rotting. A lot of people hold on to one form of religious belief or the other, yet our world is rotting. Who are the people committing this crime then? It is the same people who are these religious people. We need to call ourselves to order and tell ourselves the truth. We are not doing what is right. And we are putting the world into pain. We are putting humanity into anguish. We are putting a lot of life. A lot of women are now widows. A lot of children are now orphans. Unjustly so. We cannot continue like that, brethren. So I encourage you, join us as we look on this topic, world changers. You can change the world. Don't wait for one superstar somewhere. You that is listening to me, God is counting on you to be an instrument in his hand to change our world. Until I come your way next week, same time, I will plead with you. And if you disagree with me, you think that what I'm saying is not correct, I will ask that you please engage with us on the comment section. Let me hear your own opinion. What do you think? But for me, I think that the hardship, the pain that we are going through is not God that caused it. Because some people who are atheists may want to say a wicked God. This is not God doing it. This is human being who we have entrusted